We welcome Kat Albuquerque here now to talk about this great week here at Rice University, International Education Week. We want to celebrate our international student athletes. We've had fun with this in the past. And Kat, how are you doing? Good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't complain. I love hearing stories of our Rice student athletes. First off, I know the season is still fresh on the mind, so wanted to talk some about that. I know it didn't end the way y'all had wanted to, but just now that it's been a little bit, how does that settle with y'all on the team?
Yeah, so it's my second season at Rice. It's definitely not how we wanted it to end, but I think it's a great learning curve and the team can grow and we can learn from our mistakes. So we can come back fighting next season to try and go that extra step in the conference tournament and try and get further than we did this season. But it's always a good learning and a great experience for the freshmen to try and get integrated into the team. And I think this whole season has just been a great development for myself and for everyone on the team. So, yeah.
From a personal standpoint, the game-winning goal against La Tech, was that your personal highlight of the year?
It was definitely one. It was definitely one of my highlights. Obviously, scoring a goal is always an amazing feeling, but I think helping the team is the most important. And whether it be me or someone else on the team, I think everyone's going to be happy with whoever scores. It just happened to be me that time. So yeah, definitely something I won't forget.
So discuss your path to Rice. I'm fascinated by the story because I don't know it right at the moment. So tell us about not only growing up in London, obviously a huge soccer influence, but how you heard about Rice and in your path coming here to Houston.
Yeah, so I grew up in London. My whole family lives there. I also have family in Portugal. But coming to Rice, I was part of the Arsenal Academy for, I think, 8 years. And so my senior year of high school, I got into contact with one of the girls who was at LSU who also played with me at Arsenal and in other teams previous to Arsenal. And she was at LSU and she got me into contact with Brian Lee, the head coach of Rice now. And he basically we spoke for a couple months and I was this close to going to LSU. And then I heard that Brian had moved to Rice. And I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do now? And then Brian got back into contact with us and basically just offered me a spot here at Rice. And I came on my official back in October of 2019 and absolutely fell in love with the campus and the student life and just everything about Rice. And so I really just didn't have much of an option. I came here and I fell in love with it. So I'm really happy that I'm here.
Yeah, that answers part of my next question. I'm curious because being a native Texan, my wife and I always laugh. We see certain shows, how they perceive us Texans, in modern, I guess, Hollywood or whatever you say, the media. But coming from England, I'm curious, how are your perceptions of Rice or Texas or Houston, and how did that change once you got here? And it sounds like you warmed up to it pretty quickly.
Yeah, so I feel like Londoners especially think that everything is bigger in Texas and all of this. And like school wise, I thought there was going to be big public schools. And like I didn't think there was anything like Rice in Texas. So when I came over here and saw like the quiet, small, like campus life, I was surprised. But I personally enjoy it more than like a big public school. I feel like I've like met really unique individuals here at Rice. Something that I don't think I would find as easily in bigger public schools. So that definitely surprised me coming here.
a lot there between the hedges here on South Main. So there's a huge international student population, not just on your team, but at Rice. Does that affect the comfort at all? Do you even process that? Because, like you mentioned, there aren't many places like this. How did you acclimate to that, and did you even really recognize that as much?
Coming here, I did see that there was a large percentage of internationals at Rice, and moving here. So I stayed in London for the fall, for my freshman fall, because of COVID and the whole situation. So I only came in the spring. But when I came in the spring, I during the fall I got into contact with some of the English student athletes here at Rice. So when I arrived in the spring, like they welcomed me with open arms, and the whole soccer team. We have a lot of Canadians on our team, and some of them have become one of my closest friends. But I also have lots of friends on the swim team and the tennis team, which also have a large percentage of their squads are internationals as well. So yeah, the internationals have definitely helped my with my time here at Rice so far.
Yeah, I was counting down the roster and not including us braggadocious Texans at times. We try to foolishly think we could be our own country, but you have six international players, and of course, including Coach Lee as the head boss man. So the Canadians try to take over and try to rule the roost. I joke, of course, but how is that dynamic on the team? Because among all the rosters that I've looked at, and it's the most international driven it seems with, and I guess that should be talked about too with an international sport like soccer.
Yeah. When I came here, I didn't really think about anyone being international or anything in regards to that. So when I came, I was very surprised that there was as many Canadians as there was. I was hoping that there would be more Europeans, but I mean, hopefully I can start that trend and Brian can recruit some more Europeans because that would be amazing. But yeah, so I came and me and Micah were the only Europeans. So we became close. We bonded over that.
Okay, tell us about the studies. I always have to hear, and so I guess you're a sophomore academically right now, freshman athletically, just finishing. But what have you like? What have you taken to? And it's dangerous to ask. I know is that that's always changing. But what are you liking academically? Favorite classes, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I came in thinking I was going to be a neuroscience major, and my freshman fall was actually horrible with the time zone change. I was like 6 hours ahead of Houston time. So I was taking classes from, I think it was like 2:30 p.m. to about 10 p.m. And one of my classes was at 1 a.m. every Thursday. So
Ouch.
that was not the best time for me, but I think coming in the spring, everything got a lot easier because I'd already like survived the fall, which it could not get any worse than my freshman fall academically. So when I came in the spring, like classes, they were obviously challenging, and I like challenging myself, but with the time being in the same time zone helped a lot, and that yeah definitely helped me in the classroom. So
All right, last question, and I'm a foodie, and I like to brag about some of our Texas food, but this goes two ways. I want you, if you found maybe there's some free publicity, and we should charge them now. Is there some good English food that you found with the cuisine, obviously in our great city being so international that you could recommend to me? And have you found any good Texas fare? You're like, oh, okay, I could maybe see myself eating some brisket or Tex-Mex, or anybody on the team that's tried to kind of add to your diet.
I mean, I'm English food. I'm more a Portuguese kind of girl. So my
Yeah.
Portuguese cuisine is really good. So when I came here. I think it was a couple of weeks ago as well. I went to a Portuguese restaurant here in Texas, in Houston, and I was like reading through the menus, and I was like, oh my god, like I know this. This is so good. And I ordered. I think I ordered six six plates just so I could like try everything and see if it reminded me of home. And it was honestly the best restaurant I've been to in Houston so far.
Okay, well, what was it? I gotta learn here.
It was called O Porto.
Okay,
I think it's like 30 minutes off campus. It was really, really nice.
but no, you haven't taken to the brisket yet, or barbecue, or Tex-Mex. Well, that maybe take a
I
while.
think that might take a little longer.
Okay. Hey, it's great getting to meet you. Thank you, and thanks for the time. And we'll be watching you on the pitch here coming up the next few years.
Thank you so much.